Hi there. In this video, I want to clarify a common misunderstanding or myth about innovation. A lot of people think that innovation is about ideation. In fact, people confuse ideation with innovation. Ideas become innovation only after they have been commercialized and begin to deliver value. The value is for customers because without customers, you won't exist. You also want to create value for the organization, but a lot of innovations exist even without creating value for the organization, though. So, what is it that creates value for customers? You see, customers buy things because they have a problem to solve. People buy a drill to put in a hole in the wall so that they can hang something on the wall. But they can also solve it in a very different fashion. They can call up the urban company who will send somebody in and put up a hole in the wall for you to hang the picture. It can also be solved by ordering a stick on hook from Amazon, which again solves the same problem of hanging a picture. So, innovation is about solving a problem better than existing solutions. And what is this thing called better than existing solution? In a lot of cases, innovation makes things cheaper. For example, photography. Mobile phones have made photography very cheap. You don't need expensive cameras. You don't need to go and develop films and develop the pictures. It's also true in commercial products. For example, take the case of shampoo. A lot of poor in India and in developing economies couldn't afford shampoos in bottles because they just didn't want to pay for a full bottle of shampoo. And that's where Kevin Care's innovation of shampoo in a small pouch made sense. They made shampoo accessible at a very, very small cost, and that made it available to the poor. A second option could be that innovation makes things easier to use. It reduces complexity in the use of something. A third type of innovation is something that makes things safer. The seatbelt and the airbags in cars are prime example of that. It could also be that jobs which were once considered impossible are made possible. For example, video conferencing. So, innovation is something that solves a customer's problem and makes it simple to use. However, innovation doesn't always have to be about a product, it can also be about the ecosystem. And that's what people like Uber, Airbnb did. They built a platform and built a new ecosystem around that platform. Uber reinvented transportation. You didn't need to be a taxi company. All you needed was an app, and you could create gig workers around the app that provided transportation. The same thing with Airbnb. You don't need to build hotels yourself. You create a platform and allowed both consumers and owners of residences to come together and build a new type of hotel. The next one is about components. You don't need to actually reinvent a complete product. You can use different components, different technologies, and reinvent the product with new technologies, which is what Apple did with the iPhone. They integrated capacitive touch, they integrated Gorilla Glass, they integrated lot more features like the cameras and made a mobile phone that was almost a mini computer. And then there's technology evolution. As technologies evolve, new things become possible. Electric cars replacing the IC engines, digital cameras replacing film cameras. So technology make new things possible. So innovation is all about solving customer problems. Now there is some very interesting thing here. There are two types of innovations that happen, and these are called pull innovation and push innovation. Pull innovation is to identify a real customer problem and figure out a solution that solves that customer problem. Exactly like something Uber did or Airbnb did. They looked at the customer problem. In the case of Uber, it was about reliable, safe transportation, not taxi service. In the case of Airbnb, it was about availability of a home-like environment for stay. On the other hand, push innovation is led by technology. You develop the technology and figure out, where can I use this technology? Lithium ion batteries had been invented long before electric cars. People looked at, how can I use lithium ion batteries in cars, and came up with new architectures. Today, a lot of technology development, all the deep tech innovation is about push innovation. So in short, innovation is not about ideas, but about solving customer problems. Either you discover that there are new applications possible for your technology, or you discover that there are problems that require to be solved, and you search for solutions that can solve those problems. I hope you found this very interesting and insightful. If you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me through my website, where you will find my contacts and the social links. Look forward to seeing you soon in the next episode. Have a great day. Thank you.